passionate I was about the people in this district, how I care about Black people, how I care about the economic prosperity of folks in this district and in my District 62, which of course encompasses Atlanta District 12 and 1. You'd be surprised how many people didn't mess with me because I was not politics as usual. I was not steeped in the Democratic Party. I did not have a lot of political connections. All I had was just my history and my record as a lawyer, civil rights lawyer, criminal defense lawyer, former prosecutor, who has spent a lot of time in the courtroom fighting for people. And so as I embarked upon that lonely journey, there was one person who I met early on after asking so many if they would give me a shot, if they would just listen to my ideas, if they would hear what my policy positions were, if they would just give me a chance to see if we aligned on things. And that one person who put himself between me and mayors, me and elected Congress people high up in the Democratic Party of Georgia, in front of city council people from across the municipalities that cover my district, that one person was Antonio Lewis. He is my friend, a true man of the people, and he is exactly who he says he is. And that is so rare in politics and in public service. I'm just a little Black girl from Cleveland in my heart, right? Where we value things like loyalty and principle and what's right and who's right and who's righteous. And for me, no matter how I rise in this game, I will never forget the people who believed in me when no one else did. And so when I met Antonio, I was an unknown candidate. I am now chair of the Georgia House Democratic Caucus. When Antonio said he was having an event tonight, I would not dream of not being here for my brother. And I will always be here for my brother. And so I ask you to know that the work that these folks do, purpose work for the people, is not free. And in order for you to be a formidable advocate, to have the ability to stand on principle, you got to have the support of the community behind you. So one thing I know about Antonio is that he has your back all the time. In front of the cameras, behind the cameras, behind closed doors, in front of the powerful. He's the same Antonio Lewis, King Yo in the South Side. Right? So what I'm asking for y'all to do tonight, I really need y'all to sow a seed in my brother's ministry, because this is really what this is. This work, when you're doing it right, it is a ministry. And so it is my honor, my privilege to stand up here today to tell you, my brother, I love you. I get the chance to introduce one of my colleagues from the General Assembly. This is Senator Derek Mallow, who has come all the way from Savannah to show his love for Antonio Lewis.
I remember when she got elected as a freshman and she called me and asked me, where do you find the rule book at, Senator? I don't study the rules because in the General Assembly, when you're in the minority party, I serve as Chief Deputy Whip of the Georgia Senate Democratic Caucus. We're in the minority, but one thing you have to know is you have to know the rules. My colleagues in the majority bank on the fact that folks won't read the rules to hold them accountable to the rules that they pass. And so if you know the rules, then you know the game. I'm here because of Antonio Lewis, and I actually have the date, Antonio, of when we had the conversation. It was May the 12th of 2017 when we had a conversation about running for public office. I worked for the Boy Scouts at the time, and he was a labor organizer. So when we left North Carolina, I said, Antonio, I think I'm gonna run for office. My state representative at the time had served for about 12 years, and he called me one Thursday morning and said, hey, I'm not gonna run again. I had to be in Atlanta the next day to qualify. Friday was the last day, Tommy, and we drove all night from Savannah, 4 hours to make it to Atlanta to qualify. The first phone call I made when I got to Atlanta, I said, Lou, I qualified. He said, for what? I said, man, I'm finna be state rep. He said, state rep in the pandemic? I said, yeah. He said, let me know what you need. And so we talked because he had organized. He told me, man, you got to write letters. You got to knock them doors there. How many doors you knocking? I said, it's a pandemic, Lou. I can't knock doors. How many doors you knocking, Derek? I was like, it's a pandemic. I can't knock any people doors. He told me, why don't you get the bags and do like the apartment complexes and put the rap cards on the doors? I was like, that's a great idea. So we started knocking doors just like that. And the next thing I know, I got elected as state representative. And Antonio called me back. He said, Derek, I'm finna run against an incumbent. I said, Tony, you crazy. You finna beat that lady, man. She entrenched. She said, I can beat her. I said, you think you can beat her? He said, you gotta get into a runout. I said, all right. He said, I know my district. I know Cleveland Avenue. I know District 12. So I came to his district, went to the barbershop. We met at the barbershop. He had the mobilizers in the back. I saw the young people he was working with and mentoring, and they were motivated. I got motivated. I said, man, we can do this. He said, well, I need you to come to a group and talk about our relationship. And I think I saw one of the guys here tonight, and we were on the front porch, and I had my name tag on. I said, look, I'm a state rep from Savannah, and I drove 4 hours to tell you, I want you to support and vote for Antonio Lewis because he's going to be the best person for the job. And I promise you, if you're elected, the district won't look the way it looks right now. And you'll get the representation that you've been asking for, and you'll see the services that you deserve because you'll have a representative coming to bring those services back to your district. And Antonio delivered on that. I remember it was a road we talked about. He told me the trash was piled up. You couldn't walk down the sidewalk. I went back past that same spot coming off Cleveland Avenue, and you can walk on the sidewalk now. We talked about the potholes. We talked about MARTA not coming back to Cleveland Avenue and the issues in transportation. And now I see bus stops and I see buses rolling. And guess what? That's because you elected a representative who is fighting for his district. And that is one of the most important things you can do in having an elected representative. He's not working for himself, he's working for his district. And so I can tell you, a state senator represents Savannah District 2, where his wife is from, my good friend, my classmate. I'll come back to Atlanta not only tonight, but any other night to support Antonio Lewis or any other race that he's in, because he has a heart for the people and a passion to serve. And that is the qualities of an elected leader that you want representing you in democracy, because some folks just go along to get along, and there's some folks that make change because they cause a little chaos and a little agitation. And if you want chaos and agitation to get the results you need for your community, then we can't sit silent and suffer. We gotta have somebody who will say something and do something. And with that, I'm proud to support you, Antonio Lewis, and I hope that you get reelected in the city of Atlanta. And from Savannah to Atlanta, I'm all in.
Councilman Antonio Lewis, Ashley, I'm sorry that we got us into this. I talked to Antonio the other day on a Sunday, and it was at an event, and I was like, he's not working today. He said, I'm always working. If you call me, I'm gonna get it done. And sometimes that means that Nicole is always working. I'm always working. Anybody else who's attached to the office is always working. I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we have been able to do for the first time since I've been on Cleveland Avenue, and that was 22 years ago, thanks to somebody. We've seen job fairs consecutively, and I can't say the amount of people that have been hired, but I can say that every time we've had a job fair, the door has been out the door at Roselle Fan Recreational Center, and that's showing us the need that we need for that. I can also say that I got a call last week saying that the bus stops are being covered and have real-time action for when the buses are coming. And that's something that the students are excited about who catch the bus every day. And there's so many other programs that we're working on to ensure that the resources that our community need that may not be always fought for before Councilman Lewis was elected into office is now being fought for, and it's given us a new voice at the table. So I'm going to piggyback off of what Tanya said, that this work isn't easy, and getting elected isn't easy, and getting up every day being away from his wife isn't easy. So we're asking for you guys to come and support us a little, because Councilman Lewis, Antonio Lewis from Cleveland Avenue, had a dream when he was in elementary school. So I want to introduce my mentor, my friend, my uncle, Councilman Lewis for Atlanta District 12 City Council.
Ain't Tyrese good, y'all? I wanted folks to hear from Tyrese, because when Senator Marlowe talked about coming to Cleveland Avenue and going to meet the mobilizers, right? Tyrese was one of the mobilizers. Tyrese is a young man I met probably before he was born. But when he was about 16 years old, I sat down with his mom and I said, how much money does he need to be okay? Because I saw something in him. I saw some stuff that I knew our community needed. And I was trying to remove any kind of rock out of his way. And not just him, there's a lot of them, right? I call his twin sister, she at Harvard. She's the first student in the history of South Carolina to go to Harvard. They gave her $465,000 to go, right? She got straight A's while she up there, because that's what we building. She got straight A's. She going to law school after that. Next year, he gonna be in law school, and all us from Cleveland Avenue. At the same exact time that they were talking about the YSL trial on TV, I knew what we were building in our community. And I was fighting to build that in our community. I'm fighting to make sure the young folks get an opportunity to grow out of our community. So I want to start this off by reading a poem that I read to myself every single week. And I want y'all to put you in the mindset of who I am and how I think. It reminds me of me growing up. It's called Because I Ain't Got a Pencil. It was written by Joshua T. Dickerson. I woke myself up because we ain't got an alarm clock. I dug in the dirty clothes basket because ain't nobody washed my uniform. I brushed my hair and teeth in the dark because the lights ain't on. I even got my baby sister ready because my mama wasn't home. I got us both to school on time to eat us a good breakfast. Then when I got to class, the teacher fussed because I ain't got a pencil. And so I'm fighting for young people who I know they just need a pencil. Imagine what all I went through to get to school, right? That's my real life. Antonio Lewis, Atlanta City Council member today, 35 years ago. Antonio Lewis, motherless child. Mother murdered because of the Atlanta-Miami drug war. No other reason. I am a victim of gun violence from two. A man from Atlanta killed my mom because she dated a man from Miami. No other reason. And drugs involved, right? What I've learned about life and what I learned through that struggle was that I had to help people. I legit felt blessed because I had a grandmother who loved me. I legit felt blessed. Like, you know how like some people they need a lot? I don't need that much, y'all. I'm super easy, right? And so all I needed was a roof over my head, some food every day, and I was gonna get us out of that situation, right? And so when I say I grew up on Cleveland Avenue, I really grew up on Cleveland Avenue. I grew up in the original trap house. You can pull up at my house and get anything in the world you want, right? Y'all wanna know what's going on in that house now? I own it. If the family ain't got it, I went back and got it back. I grew up in the original trap house. I was president of my elementary school, my middle school, my high school, and my college. Every single day of my life, I went down to Cleveland Avenue Park. I went to Cleveland Avenue Barbershop so Tick Man to give me something to eat. I ate lunch at the barbershop. I got my haircuts free every single Friday because I swept the barbershop every day. My summer breaks were filled with me reading books at Cleveland Avenue Library, shooting jump shots on the back and on the basketball court, and eating lunch with Tick Man at the barbershop. And so what I knew, I saw struggle. I walked past whatever you can walk past. What I wanted to be in life was like nobody in my household. Imagine a kid that grows up in the trap house, right? I wanted to be like no man in my household. I walked over them, but that ain't it. I knew I had to come back and help them. I understood how, imagine this, I understood that it wasn't even them. I understood that the city and governments can like fix some of this stuff if they tried. I've been knowing that since kindergarten. Man, when I was in kindergarten, they set up a play, and my teachers, I've always been selected for stuff. They let me lead the play. They let me be Al Gore. And so I've always known about politics, right? So I've always pretended to be like an elected official since then. So I knew that, because Al Gore at the time was trying to change stuff for people. So I knew that politicians could change stuff for people. And so what I realized in life is that all politics are local politics rule the world, and if you convince your local politician to do right, if you convince your local politician to go to work, right? But look at my attendance record. We don't miss no work, right? If you convince him to gotta care about you a little bit more, right? You can get some stuff. If you're in our area, you know what you're seeing. All we're seeing is shovels in the ground. All we're seeing is young people getting scholarships and they're getting paid for it. We found out Georgia Power they will buy laptops for every single student in a high school if you make a request, right? We found out that Georgia Power they don't like to see people lights go off. Imagine that. You know when people lights go off, you know they call me. You know what we do? I call Georgia Power, we cut their lights back on. The teachers, the principals call me. I mean, y'all know the principals at my schools calling me because they got kids that are coming to school and they found out that the lights went on, so you know it wasn't right. And so that's what I'm fighting for. So when you see people say they stand with me and I read that poem, man, it don't look good to me. I know I look good. I got a beautiful wife. She's an attorney. I'm a city council person. I got Tyrese and Allison them with me, and I look like everything's going good. But please know, every single day I'm fighting for all of us. I want all of us to have this. So I bring a CDL school to Cleveland Avenue, right? I made them go through the ringer to get over there. They crossed their T's. They dotted their I's. Y'all know Lil Tick. Anybody know Trevante Steve and Lil Tick? Slow up. First person got his CDLs over there, right? He got his CDLs. He driving 18 wheelers. He over the road. He doing what he's supposed to do. You know they get a stop work order. That's real life. We trying to help. I'm trying to bring some folks out of poverty. It's called social mobility. Social mobility. I'm trying to bring some social mobility to our city. But I'm gonna end right here. When I was elected, the city of Atlanta has a 29% of black folks in the city of Atlanta below the poverty line, right? If you're born below the poverty line, only 4% of you will make it out, right? And so I just gave y'all my background, so I'm one of that 4%. And I'm gonna break that down even more. March 30th, 1987, when I was born at Grady Memorial Hospital, the city of Atlanta could have went and counted 100 babies born in poverty. All us born at Grady, you know what I'm saying? All of us, they could have counted them 100 babies born in night. They would have said 1, 2, 3, 4. The rest of y'all gonna be nothing. So social mobility means that I don't believe that. I believe that if we fix some of this stuff up here and we quit tripping, get that man a job who ain't got no GED or high school diploma so he can go home to his family and they treat him better, right? His mom gonna treat him better, his girlfriend gonna treat him better, his wife gonna treat him better. If he's opposite, his husband gonna treat whatever, how it goes, right? So get that man a job, so that person a job, and then opportunity for the kids so they can come up out of the poverty situation they're in. Thank you again for showing up tonight. When you understand why we're here, we're running to help all of us. We do know that we're having a class battle, not a race battle in this city. It's a class battle. Go downtown, all of us look the same. This is class. They don't like me because I'm from Cleveland Avenue, y'all. They don't care about my education. I'm the one who went to law school. I'm the only one working on Capitol Hill. None of them would have got these jobs. I don't care my wife a lawyer. In fact, that it's about class, right? When I go to a person's house and they ask me, what gang are you in? They really ask me that. I was president of my elementary school, middle school, high school, college. I asked Derek Mallow, please call me because they think I'm in the game. And so that's what we're fighting for. So when folks say donate to this campaign, donate to this movement, because they scared of us. They are afraid that if the generation that grew up with 40 years of strong black leadership, because you were born in Atlanta, imagine what Tyrese gonna be. If you was born in Atlanta, you've seen 40 years of strong black leadership. So you ain't scared of this stuff. You done seen some people win in this stuff. I see Mr. Reed, brother, Tracy Reed in here. That's Casino Reed, brother. I done seen some people win in this stuff, right? And so I ain't scared of nothing. I'm reading from period to period, and I'm gonna ask y'all to support me so that I can continue to serve my community. Thank you again. I'm gonna pass the microphone back to the person who actually does run this show, Tyrese Miller, because he helped me keep me going.